Chris, I'm doing well. Good to talk to you, buddy.
Good to have you aboard, Carlisle. Let me hear now. Fire away.
Couple things. First, let me quickly get this out the way. I'm having my Steve Torrey moment tonight. My daughter's at Radford, a freshman, so rooting for them tonight. I know Steve
Radford's got an NIT. Well, they got an NIT game tonight. Radford against somebody. You're talking about the men's team. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine whose daughter, I haven't figured out where I got to look at the roster. Matter of fact, I'll have Eddie do it right now. Radford women's basketball, Division I, same level. Mm-hmm. I have a friend of mine, Keith Faulkner, whose daughter went there to go play basketball, Jennifer Faulkner. Okay. I got to see if she, I think she might be she might be a sophomore. I got to go look to see how much she played this year. But you may continue. Go ahead.
Okay. Couple things. First of all, I'm with you. The Rockets have big mouths. They remind me of the Washington Nationals. They've never won anything, and I'm looking forward to Paul and Hart and choking again in these playoffs. It'd be nice to see them get Houston in the first round with Kawhi Leonard back, and we'd see right off the bat how clutch they can be for a change. DeRozan and Lowry, to a lesser extent, don't have big mouths, but they're in the same boat. I'll believe Toronto when I see them. They never do anything, and so those two teams, I'm kind of.
Well, here's the problem with Toronto. When Toronto plays a big team that's got some experience and everything else, the Wizards, the 1 year they were swept. They've won they've won 2 games against Cleveland in 2 best-of-7s. They
lost
never.
To the Nets team with Pierce and Garnett they were 38 years old.
Yeah, they did. 7th game at home. Good point. They have not had a lot of postseason success. They got little guards. They shoot a lot of jump shots. I have to see them, and I don't think the guards are. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. So I think from that standpoint, we'll see where they stand. And you're right about Houston. They can win 100 games. They cannot lose another game. They can go 67 and they can go 68 and 14. I could care less. Let me see Houston not sweat in the first 2 rounds, and then let me see them take Golden State to a 7th game. Then I'll take them seriously. Go ahead.
The Celtics, who I root for, the reason I bring them up, they got some concerns, though. Marcus Smart, who they lost, he doesn't score much, but they lost 4 games before the All-Star break, which cost them the division. And they were all 4 without him. He is one of the more clutch, non-scoring players. The Celtics are just not the same team without him. You can look it up. This torn ligament in his hand is going to make a bit. I don't know if he'll be back, but they're not going to go far without him. I've seen them, like I said, that 4 games right before the All-Star break that they lost practically cost them the division. And if you look at their defensive statistics with Smart out of the lineup as opposed to when he's in there, it's a big difference. So hopefully they can get him back. Jaylen Brown took a bad spill.
Yeah, I know that. And I saw that. Smart's been out. I don't know when Smart's due back, but I know he's out. That team hasn't been whole all year, obviously, with Hayward. They probably are not going to be able to withstand not being whole in the postseason. You agree? I agree with you on that. Go ahead.
All right, and lastly, the Phillies, I think Arrieta was a good sign, and I agree with you on that one. I think that they needed to do a little something. You know what the Phillies have done? They've done something that unless I'm mistaken, and you're more into baseball than me, but the Braves have just been awful, and I haven't seen them make a sign where they say, okay, we're trying to get better here. I just compare those two teams, and I don't see
the Braves and the Phillies.
I don't see what Atlanta's doing. What are they doing?
Well, Atlanta's got a great farm system. It's one of the best farm systems in the sport. That's number one. Number two, they made the move. They have Anthopoulos in there, who was with Toronto and made those moves for Price and Tulowitzki, which worked out that 1 year. Then he went to L.A. after he got fired. They brought Shapiro in. Then he showed up in Atlanta. This is his first year there in Atlanta. They had that issue with the OGM who cheated with the Dominican Republic players, and they lost about 12 or 13 kids. But they have a very good farm system, lots of good young players. He cleared out some cap space for next year with getting rid of Kemp. Don't worry about them. They'll be all right. Josh in Montana, and he's with us here on Mad Dog Unleashed. Josh, good afternoon. How are you today?
Good, Chris. How are you doing today?
What's going on? What do you have for us today? What's on your mind?
You know, I'm a Broncos fan, and I'm trying to make sense of what John Elway's doing. And I know we won a Super Bowl 2 years ago. I understand that, or 3 years ago now. But he says that every year they want to compete for a title. And I can't understand what they're thinking, bringing in a guy like Case Keenum.
Well, Keenan took the Vikings to an NFC Championship game. They only they gave him 2 years, $36 million. I do not know how much of it is guaranteed. They don't have a quarterback. They're not going to get one with the pick number 5. Cousins decided to go to Minnesota. What did you want them to do?
Well, first I would have liked to go for Cousins, but I think that they were handcuffed in the money side of it.
Okay, so again, if they can't, I agree. They can't get Cousins. What would you have liked Elway to do?
Well, at this point, look at the defense. The defense is aging. You got a vastly overpaid linebacker who, took a ton of plays off last year. What would have been wrong with, if you're going to trade Talib, if you're going to look to trade your running back, what's wrong with rebuilding and bringing in a young quarterback? I would have been good with that.
Well, they tried that.
Seems like we're playing for 7 and 9.
Well, again, they have the 5th pick. They're not going to get any higher than that. That means, who knows? He's going to have the 4th choice. Maybe he's not in love with Baker Mayfield. He can save the 5th pick and draft a defensive player there if he wishes. He did draft Lynch. I don't know what they feel. They've given up on him entirely. The other kid from Northwestern's a backup. I'm not exactly sure where you can kill him on this. Keenan played well last year for Minnesota. He's a competitive son of a gun. He's almost like Baker Mayfield. See, when I see Baker Mayfield, I see Case Keenum. They remind me a lot of each. They got a little chip on their shoulder. They can run a little bit. They remind me a lot of each other. And maybe he felt, instead of getting Mayfield in the 5th pick, let me get Keenan, who's like Mayfield, and then I can use the 5th pick to get somebody else. 8 in front of the hour. Continuing here on Mad Dog Unleashed.